What is going on, everybody? I'm here to talk about a movie that I was just able to go see not too long ago, Weapons. Not gonna lie, guys, this is one of those things where I tell you, like, stream it, ditch it, or big screen it. I'm just gonna tell you right off the flip, this is definitely a big screen it. This movie deserves to be seen. It deserves to be seen before you get spoiled by the major plot points. The deal going in the movie where it's a group of kids that go to the same elementary school class. There's like 18 kids, 17 of them goes missing. There's one little boy that is still like showing up in the class, and that's basically what you need to know going into the movie. It's an interesting premise. It's got this like mysterious thing going on, like what caused that, what happened, and everything else. And that right there is a big key to this movie. So don't go in spoiled. I will be talking about some of the things in the movie that could be spoilers or definitely are spoilers. But this very first part, I'm just kind of giving you the thing. Kudos to the actresses, kudos to the writer, director, Krieger. Actually, I'm super hyped up about this guy. I liked Barbarian, and then I also like this movie Weapons. And come to find out, he's actually going to be working on a Resident Evil project, which, because of how poorly those movies were made, and I love the franchise and the game and everything. So like I kind of do get interested, even if it's something that might not be very good. But with Krieger's name being put on there, and if he does anything to the quality of these first two films that he's made in the Resident Evil franchise, I think it could be freaking amazing. And I am pumped. I am super pumped about the idea of him doing something in the Resident Evil franchise. But yes, almost everything in this movie to me is like just super great, powerful, and smart. There's a couple of like underlying messages there in the film. And I think one of the biggest things that's happening today with movies is like people will try to put like messages or something like that right into the film, where it felt like, uh back in the day, like the 90s, 80s, especially like even the early 2000s, like we had movies that did things and they would put like say messages in movies that were like underlying. So like you would go watch the film, you would be entertained first, then you would start thinking about the movie and you would be like, oh, wait, this movie stood for something. This movie stood for that. And it was kind of cool that you were able to unearth that and you were able to talk about that with maybe some of the other people that watched the film, and you get this basic understanding of something. But not only did you enjoy watching a fun story that was being told and everything else, you didn't get beaten the head with anything. And I think some of the writers, a lot of the writers these days and everything can't like do that, like almost in camouflage. Like they can't make, sometimes it feels like they can't make an entertaining movie with maybe a message that, but they can't do it like undercover. They can't do it where the movie's still really fun and entertaining, and yet they still have this. But it's like if you peel back a couple of layers, you can see it. I really think Krieger has done a really good job, basically in like both of his movies, in Barbarian and now Weapons, doing those type of things, which is interesting. Like I said, because you can go back and after you watch the film, talk to a friend or something like that, and then you'll start noticing things, and then they'll notice something else that you might not have noticed, and you put it all together, and it comes out to be this great thing and brings up like great conversation and stuff like that. uh just the individual stories, something that's not a spoiler because I'm not really talking about spoilers at the moment, but like something that's non-spoilerish in this movie is the fact that like it is broken down into like different characters. It's almost like little chapters during the film. It's not just like a one continuous story from beginning to end, which sometimes that hurts a film. But in this movie, man, they did such a great job. Each little section to me had like an important character, and on top of that, their characters were always doing things that were interesting, which then made it pretty cool. So I loved all that stuff that was going down with all the different characters and how they were built. Everybody kind of had something to them. Nobody was like uh, perfectly good or perfectly evil. They all had like different things going on in it into the film. And one thing before I get into a couple of spoiler things is this film has some crazy moments, obviously. Like Barbarian had some crazy moments, but this film in particularly had crazy moments. But as I'm walking away from the film, I don't feel like talking to people about necessarily right off the bat the crazy moments. The characters are built so well and the story was told so good in this movie that there are a lot of like character points and stuff like that that you actually think about more than the crazy. And that is pretty like substantial. Like there are moments in this film that are like super crazy, super out of this world kind of deals. And when you walk away, a lot of the things you want to talk about were character moments and stuff that didn't even involve like the super crazy things. Of course, you're going to talk about the crazy stuff that's in the film and whatever, especially somebody like me that loves horror. But walking away, you also want to talk about the characters and some of the things that happen and how good the actors did throughout this whole film was just amazing. Like there's not one person in this film that I would say like acting wise or anything did a terrible job. Usually I can watch a movie and it's like 90% of everybody does a really good job. You know, maybe there's one or two, like even like a side character or whatever, that just doesn't really do it. I think all the characters that that played their parts, all the actors that played their parts in this movie, like did a fabulous job, like up and down the thing. And also another thing is like this movie does have some like quirks. This movie does have some weirdness to it, right? Um, but the crazy part about it is they made those crazy moments like fit into the movie somehow, and then even make logical sense in a lot of ways. Like in a lot of movies these days, you see things happening all over the place, crazy shit happening, and then like it's stupid. It's not even logical. And there are things that you would normally be able to bring that up. Like normally you there's a couple of moments, and I'll start getting into a little spoilers here, but like so the movie boils down to all these characters. You got the missing kids. We find out uh, as the different chapters and the different characters, we further and further progress, and then we learn more and more information. We find out what it ends up being. It ends up being a witch, and this movie even does something really cool. Where at the very beginning of the film, nobody's going to get it if they didn't know the spoiler ahead of times, but you would just think it was just a random thing. It was painted on the side of the vehicle. We find out what actually is going on pretty early in the film because the teacher who is getting harassed, not really, she's getting harassed a little bit, but like she's like the enemy of all these parents, obviously. So she's the teacher of like a class that every kid except for one went missing, and everybody's like, there's no way she didn't know something about this. How come it's only her class? So like the parents and stuff are kind of going after her and everything else. uh well, she gets like, she's kind of getting harassed. She comes out, she busts out the door, and she finds out that somebody painted witch on her vehicle. And you don't think about it when you're watching the movie the first time. You just think that's something bad somebody was uh, doing to her vehicle, basically vandalizing it. And you don't really think about that word. You just think, oh, somebody did something mean to her vehicle, you know. But there turns out, it literally just told you exactly what happens in this film, because it turns out that the evil in this film is an actual witch, like a witch that's got this like tree that she keeps by that grows branches like a little plant that she gets like twigs off of and uses her witch capabilities to control people, and that's why it's called weapons, because the kids even and some of the adults in this film basically get taken over and become weapons. But like there's certain points in this movie, like when she goes to the principal's house, like we're talking about the witch, when she goes to the principal's house and she's like talking to them, and she's kind of eccentric and kind of weird, but it's like, okay, whatever. And you're like wondering what the hell's up with this lady. And then she's like, I'm thirsty, and she's wanting some water to drink. And the principal, he goes and like goes to make her a glass of water, and she says, no, I would like it in a bowl. And he's looking at her weird, right? And that's like a normal reaction. And a moment like this in a lot of movies would have been stupid because they wouldn't have been intelligent enough. But it's like what she says afterwards that's kind of intelligent enough to be like, okay, like she's asking for something weird, but man, it's just the way she does it, right? Because she's like, I would like it in a bowl, and then he kind of looks at her, and she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I know it's crazy, I know it's dumb, I don't even try to fight people, I get it, it's just one of my things that I do basically, but I don't even argue with people. I realize it's crazy, I realize it's dumb, it's just something that that I do. And it's just, you know, she's like, basically she calms him by basically, you know, saying that, hey, I know, I realize this is crazy. And so he like relents and just gets her a bowl and puts water in it, and then like passes it to her, and she's not even thirsty. She ends up wrapping she had gotten like a personal belonging of his, and she wraps around a tree, mixes her blood, and then she like snaps it, and then he attacks who she wants to attack, which in this case was his husband. And crazy ass, like he just bashes the freaking head with his head, just headbutts into oblivion until his partner is just like head is just mush. And then she like drops it in the water, and then he stops being crazy and he calms down, right? And then she wraps something around another twig, and it happens to be like one of the main characters of the story, the teacher. And then she snaps it, and then this dude just takes off running. So but that's like a crazy moment. But like being able to be able to interact that and like make it in to where people, I'm just not shaking my head completely, right? It's still a weird moment. It's still like something you're not going to see every day. But to be able to do it intelligently enough to where it's not just like, oh, okay, I kind of understand. He doesn't know what's happening. The principal don't know what all is like what she's even capable of. She's kind of a weird lady. She looks a little weird, so he's kind of standoffish. And then she asks for the weird request for like the bowl of water instead of cup of water, and you're like, okay, but then like the way they portray the character, it's like I don't know, like I may have given her a bowl of water too. Like I may have been like she's fucking crazy, but at least she kind of knows she's crazy. Like so what harm can a bowl of water do? Whatever, man. I just want her out of my house, so I'm just gonna like hand her over some water so that we can just get this on down the road. She's crazy, but maybe not dangerous. Then you realize how dangerous she is, and everything else. But yeah, there's just a little bit of that, right? There's just like you have to suspend belief to a certain point to have even a witch like this to be like the main bad guy in a film and a movie. But the way they do it is so like intelligent, and it's not like it's like crazy and weird at times, but then like it's not overboard either. There's like a line. I have to give this guy credit because there's a line that is very easily crossed, even by accident, right? Whenever you do a film like this, and I felt like he crossed the line a little too much in Barbarian. Like there were moments in that film where it almost could take you out because I think it does cross the line. I do enjoy that movie. I don't think he crosses it too far, but I do think he like wavers a little bit in that film, like towards the end of it. I think there are some things that goes a little too far off the beaten path. But in this film, I didn't feel like it really did that at all. I felt like it walked that tightrope of like we know what's happening is crazy, but in this world, in this story that I'm watching, like it made sense. It made perfect sense of what was going on, what was happening, and I just found that truly enjoyable. And like I said, all the characters, like the teacher, that in some movies would just be like this perfect hero kind of character that's innocent, and then like ends up being able to win the day. She's not. You know, she battles with alcohol. She like cheats with and sleeps around with people and stuff like that. And then you got Archer, which is like the dad played by Josh Brolin, and I loved his character because he's a hard nosed like a guy. He's like right up in there. He's doing the thing. He's got a high level of masculinity, and it's almost toxic. It's almost to that level, right? Where he's like very like brute and like he's doing the thing, but like they don't never cross that line, right? Like he stands up, he can be tries to like overpower and intimidate and everything, but like you find out he really loves his son, and like so much so that he's like sleeping in his bed every night to the point that his wife is getting kind of irritated. He's making mistakes at his job and everything else. You find that out, like, and he's just going through these different things um, as the movie progresses as a character. But he's ultimately like he saves the teacher's life a few times in this film, and then he even gets controlled. Luckily, he's not controlled for very long because the one kid who was left. That's actually his house that the witch came to because he was supposed to be like an aunt of his mom's and stuff like that. And his parents were taking over and all that. Sorry, I'm jumping around, but like in in that moment, like he he saves her life. He's actually a good guy. Like he doesn't like he doesn't use any of that for bad. He's like a positive like person overall as far as like he's a good guy. He really does care for his kid. He helps her out during this thing. They end up teaming up towards the end of the film, and all that. There were even funny parts in this film, a very serious film, a horror film like it is, a mystery, a drama, whatever you want to call it. It's like a bunch of things mixed into one. But he there there's just different things that are going on, and there are things that happens that are kind of goofy and kind of funny, like during the film. But you feel like it's this perfect thing. It's not an MCU forced. We got to do a joke every 5 minutes kind of thing. It's like it's like a naturally makes sense, and that's one of some of the funniest things that you'll ever see is when a movie or a film can make it look like, oh, this is like a normal reaction, but because of when it's happening and how it's happening, like it makes it and kind of it makes you laugh a little bit, it makes uh, you smile or whatever, right? And even in some serious moments, but it doesn't take away for it. That this movie also walks that tightrope to me perfectly with some of the silly moments that are in it because they felt so natural and it felt like a normal thing that a person would do. There's like a part in the film where a cop pulls over a junkie and he's like, "Do you have anything in your pocket's gonna stick my hand?" And the guy's like, "No, I don't have anything." And he reaches his hand like in one of the pockets, and sure enough, he gets stabbed by a damn needle because the guy's a druggie. And like, he's so pissed off because like he literally asked him like, if you have anything in your pockets, let me know. That he kind of just like does like a hard ass elbow to him and basically knocks him out for a second. But then he realizes there's a damn camera on the front of the cop car, so he's afraid he's going to get in trouble for knocking his junkie out because he lost control for a second. But even in that moment, if you're that cop, right, like, and you get stabbed and you think, oh shit, there could be some kind of damn disease or something like that on the end of this dirty ass needle, like, you might overreact a little bit. You might do that, but it was kind of silly because he just, bam, knocks him out, realizes the thing, and it's like, it's a bunch of that stuff happens in this film. But I'm going to tell you right now, 100%. I mean, I've been rambling for a little bit, and this movie is the best movie of 2025. I can't say it's going to be the best movie overall of 2025. This movie deserves Oscar nominations. This movie deserves it all. It came out, there at the end of the summer here, but this movie deserves everything. Right now, so far this year, and we've 8 months into it, this movie is the best movie of 2025. Bar none, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't have anything even close to it. And I've enjoyed a few movies. Like I enjoyed Fantastic Four more than I thought. I enjoyed Superman a little bit. I was iffy on that movie before it came out. But this particular movie right here really just hits it out of the park. Listen, the only movie that I rate, because I feel like you have to be able to rate a movie 10 out of 10. To me, it's a movie that when I watch it, I wouldn't change one thing. Like there's nothing that I think that I could add to the movie that would make it better. And that's 7. I don't know if I'm putting Weapons up there a 10 out of 10 like I have 7, like I do the movie 7. But this film's really good. It's top notch. Like definitely a 9 out of 10 for me. And like I said, I think it's the best film of 2025. It might be one of the best films I've seen in the past 3 or 4 years. Right? There's going to be some films that I put up there that rank up there, but this is definitely one of my favorite films. And like I said earlier, it gets me excited for the project he may be doing for Resident Evil, just off of that alone. But this is definitely a big screen it. Please go out and see the movie if you like anything. This isn't a super scary movie. There's a couple of moments in it, but it's not super scary. It's more of a mystery drama with the actual horror elements in it. But it's not like a super big, huge, like, oh, you're gonna be scared out of your ass. You literally do not walk out of this film thinking about being scared, thinking about all this. You walk out of this film shocked at the character development, the story that was told, and the way it was directed. There's just not a lot for me to complain uh, about this film. I don't. That's one of the things. It's hard for me to say it's a 10 out of 10 because of the simple fact I do think there might be like a little critique here and there, right? Somebody might be able to legitimately complain about something. That's why right now I'm at a 9 out of 10. But I definitely want to watch this film again, probably even a few more times, because I think this is one of those films you see and learn things each time that you like watch the movie that is going to add something to the experience. So rewatchability. That's why another reason why I think I'm going to rate this one high because of that. But after I watched it a few more times, like 7, I didn't know was a 10 out of 10 when I first watched it. I knew it was really good. I knew I really loved the movie. But as I watched it a few times after it came out in the movie theaters, I was able to watch it on DVD and stuff. I was able to like, oh man, this movie is so good. There's nothing I would want to change. The feel, the climate, the just the all the stuff like the music and all that stuff to me. I don't think I would change uh, anything in that movie, and that's why I say it's the only 10 out of 10 movie that I give. But this one, like I said, I think it's a 9 out of 10, and it might progress to the 10 out of 10 after I'm able to watch it a couple of times, just because I think being able to walk those tight ropes on a couple of things, on a little bit of the humor mixed in there, but it's all natural humor and fits inside the story. The ridiculousness be going to a certain level, but then keeping it on that line and not really crossing it. Like I said, I think he crossed it a little bit too far in Barbarians at certain moments. It didn't kill the movie for me. I thoroughly still enjoy that movie. I'm probably going to go and rewatch Barbarian just because of the fact that I love this movie so much, just to give the director kudos. Like right now, I'm behind this guy. He's becoming like, he's only did 2 films so far. I enjoyed the shit out of him. If he knocks out of the park with a Resident Evil movie, he might become one of my top 5 directors, bro. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, guys, like if you've seen the movie, let me know in the comments down below, like what you thought about it, like how you like really perceived the movie. Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Did you hate the movie? And all that. So yeah, just do that. Like and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, of course, you can support in many different ways, as you see on the banner right there. Our Discord's for free. You can jump into the Discord at any time where we talk about some of these things that we see and everything, just in casual conversation.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.